Hi, my name is Mackenzie Kochman, and this is my visual aid presentation. And I'll be talking about snowboarding. It's a winter sport with roots in surfing, skateboarding, and skiing, where the primary activity is riding down any snow-covered surface while standing on a snowboard with feet positioned roughly perpendicular to the board and perpendicular to the direction of travel. So, the history of snowboarding, the okay. The sport developed in the 1960s and the 70s and grew popularity in the 80s. In 1964, Sherman Poppin dreamt about surfing on the Rocky Mountains. His first prototype was about 1.2 meters long, and it was a plastic plank made out of two kids' ski boards. And his wife came up with the creative idea of the Snurfer, which is which is a combination of the word snow and surfer. It was a present for his daughter and became a big hit in the neighborhood. So in 1965, the idea was put out for production. He had a couple of friends that worked for a bowling company that were engineers and manufacturers. So then he gave the idea, and it was actually a bowling company that was producing these Snurfers. And they were a whopping $15 at the time. And about 1 million Snurfers were sold in the 10 years following. In 1975, they were mentioned in American magazines like Newsweek and Playboy, and in 1976, he threw a swallowtail board in the nearly non-existing market. So it started losing popularity because it was nearly impossible to stay on because you didn't have anything holding your feet, and all you were hanging on is to the rope right there. And then in the 1980s, the company became broke, but Jake Burton, a 23-year-old student at the time, was completely into snurfing and kept on improving the toy. So he started adding implications to it by putting foot straps on it, and it was actually made out of, I think, a windpipe at first, and then he transferred over to leather and just played around with different things. And then this helped for better control and more stability. And then in 1977, he decided to find his own company in Vermont and started a small edition of snowboards with flexible wooden planks and water ski bindings. And then in the photo right here, this is Sherman Poppin. He was the first to put the two little skis together, and that was the first version of the Smurf. And then this is Jake Burton, and that's another photo of him. And then for the equipment with snowboarding, you just need a board, and then nowadays we have actual bindings. So you can see I have my snowboard right here, and then bindings attached to it. And then we have boots that are not soft, but they're a flexible, they're like a mid-flexing material for support. And then a lot of times, especially if you're a beginner, I recommend snow pants, and it gets pretty cold, so you need a jacket so you can keep yourself dry. And then a lot of times we have gloves, and I highly recommend a helmet because the first time I went snowboarding, I got a concussion even though I was wearing a helmet. So it can get pretty dangerous. And as popularity grew, we have a whole bunch of different contests. So we have rail jams, a half pipe slopestyle, free ride, and border cross. So rail jams are one of the main elements in rail jams is a ramp, a fixed rail, and a landing area. And the idea of this competition is to go from the top of the ramp while hitting a great speed and pull out the best flips and tricks off the fixed rail. And then here I have a video for an example. As you can see, is going down and just hitting the rails and doing some tricks. So that's kind of ideal what a rail jam is. And then the half pipe competition. They're known for having the biggest pipe competitions. In this competition, you go up against others to see who has the best competition when it comes to style, amplitude, and technical tricks. The main key to competing well in a half pipe competition is to make use of the entire half pipe. So then, example of this. So you can see he's jumping up and down, doing spins and flips, and utilizing as much of the half pipe as he possibly can. And then the next type is slopestyle. So the slopestyle competition is one of the most highly anticipated and participated events in snowboarding. The competition mixes rails, kickers, and even a small pipe. And overall, the slopestyle contest is a test of riders' freestyle ability. So it's kind of a mixture of the rail jams, where there was the rails, and sometimes there's half pipes, different hills that they do tricks on. And then there's the free ride, which is the backcountry. It's also known, or the competitions take place high up in the mountains, where competitors take a ride down steep lines and large cliffs. Competitors will get to choose which line they want to go down, and each line will vary in difficulty. Judges will look at basic skills, the riding, and creativity in line choices. And then the final competition is the board cross, which is basically a bunch of snowboarders racing on a track, and sometimes there could be a variability of different hills and jumps. And then diehard riders and enthusiasts worldwide, snowboarding is a special kind of medicine for the soul. Combining the beauty of nature and thrill of competition, the opportunity for self-expression, it's a really fun sport to do. One thing I personally love about the sport is that there's no single way to ride. So here are some quick little videos, personal videos to wrap things up. You can see that there's a bunch of different ways you can snowboard. So my friend Trevor went off a roof there, or in the middle there, we were pulling him on the back of a truck, and he was snowboarding, having a blast. And then the last video there is me at the mountain snowboarding for the first time, and you'll see a lot of times falling will be very common, but it's still a lot of fun, and falling is worth it. So thanks for